Are we live? I think we are live. Hello. Sorry, I had a technical hiccup for a second. But we are now, I think, live. When I hear it. Purple Goop is here. Jordan Salafalo. Eventually I will see that it is live. Ah, there it is. Okay, I'm here. Sorry, William Ellman is here. Jordan Salafalo, Cornbread, Purple Goop. I saw Austin earlier. Thank you. I will send it out. No, for some reason it wasn't letting me. The live button wasn't working. Nathaniel Foga is here. Anyway, that like throws you off right before you're going to do something. And it's just like, no. Like, hey, fuck you, buddy. All right. Just saw Pan was also streaming. Oh, good for him. All right. I saw Austin earlier. I hope he's doing okay. I think I said hello to. Was Sinram in there? No. I don't know why I thought that. If he's here earlier, I preemptively said hi. Oh, Nick groaned. Okay, Super Adusky. Okay, cool. Got a cool crew here. All right. Let me switch over. How's it going? We're back in the classic spot, I guess. The spot for the videos and stuff. For the most part. All right. What was I gonna... Let me get everything here. All right. It's been an interesting week. I feel like almost too much has happened pop culture wise and not enough at the same time, which makes no sense. Hey, Austin is here. I guess I'm sorry this is so late. Apologies. Just a lot going on. Trying to think. I thought about all the other stuff for this section and not the what the small talk part. Oh boy. Cineram is here. Okay, now I feel bad. I preemptively said your name, Cineram, so I'm glad you're here. Okay. Let me see. Anything cool happened? We've been watching some Speed Racer, which was on Prime for like a day or something. It was weird. And now is back on. Well, it's still on Tubi. So, watching some Speed Racer. There's one with like a monster car. And whoa, hello. Austin says, wait, I'll finish this. Sorry. You surprised me, Austin. It was like a monster car. It's just a huge truck. And at one point, the whole truck goes in a circle and Speed is trying to get out of this spinning circle truck. It was wild. Here, let me move this mic a little closer. All right. Austin says, Grape a Ghost Gang Rise Up. Jim, I got a new quest for you to find the Dr. Pepper blackberry flavor that just came out. I have not seen that yet. And I will say, I'm going to like this, that, and I'll reveal the energy drink, which I don't think anyone got unless there's a stray tweet I missed or something. That's not an energy drink, but I will reveal, if I find it, I'll just show it. But that is actually, I actually looked it up. What, did I say this on stream? I don't know. I've repeated it a lot of time. I found out that what sodas have the most caffeine, and it was like Coke is sort of dead last, even though a lot of people drink that for caffeine, and then Pepsi is above Coke in terms of caffeine, and then Dr. Pepper has the most. So anyway, here it is. I have this. It is a rodeo energy drink. Anytime I found a store that has a bunch, and I might just like but yeah, there we go. I usually do so just because we'll see. But if I find it, I'll reveal it. I accept your quest, Austin. I accept your quest. It might not be the energy drink of the show, but we'll see. I'm open to these ideas. I will see what I can find. Cheers to you. This just tastes like a Red Bull. This is like, yeah. I know. I'm trying to mix it up. Except for the Oscars stream, which will obviously, we got to do Red Bull. Unless The Rock does something crazy. If The Rock does something crazy, I'll get Zoa. Otherwise, it's Red Bull. This just did. Furiosa still's got no driver's license. You think there's driver's license in the post-apocalyptic wasteland? I can't remember that whole speech. I got to write that down somewhere. I got to just have it on my computer. Thank you for that, Austin. That was cool. I accept your request. If I see it, I will get it and save it for this, and I'll try it before because I am a Dr Pepper fan. I like Dr Pepper. Yeah, we watched. What did we do this weekend? I don't know. Just like all sorts of stuff. It's like kind of hard to. I don't know. I need to see Dogman. I still haven't seen Dogman with the kids, and I think soon. But it's just like there's always stuff going on. It's like really hard. A Juicy Lift 180. Oh, is that the what was it called? Oh, god damn it. The turn thing. Is that what she's calling it? Anyway, what did we? Man. Anyway, we watched a lot. I think I had to watch Wicked again. No, we watched something else. Anyway, watched those. Oh, I saw the Will Ferrell Reese Witherspoon movie, and Nick Stoller directed. It was decent. I don't know. It's just very much. Oh, whoa. Max was Harvard. No, J-Turn. Thank you, Senram. Whoa, you had a crazy day at work, dude. I hope, Jesus, I hope everybody's okay. Yeah, I watched The Muppet Show today with Peter Sellers. That's a good episode. All right. Let's just try to get, because we are late, and I do have a few things I want to say before we get on the show, which need more explanation. Trust me, I actually do. What was I going to say? What was I going to say? I don't know. Yeah. I saw it with whatever it's called with Will Ferrell and Reese Witherspoon on Prime. It is decent, but it is like goes on too long. And man, I presently have a theory that Apatow may have ruined comedy because Nick Stoller very much does the Apatow style, and like that movie's too long. And it's like it would have been a fun, decent, good date night kind of comedy, and then it like has too many scenes. Like somebody needs to like really. I don't know why everybody thinks comedies need to be long. I don't like that. I like old comedies that are short. Anyway, William Ullman said, saw The Seed of the Sacred Fig this week, 8 out of 10. Oh, cool. I would like to see it. It's more of a time issue. That's actually why I didn't see The Brutalist. Because it was like, do I want to come home at 2 o'clock in the morning, even though I stay up late all the time? It's just like, it's different. Like, do I want to, and their showtimes never work for like, I get to work earlier enough that it would be fine, but it's never playing. The Brutalist is like, I think that one I'm not going to see before the Oscars because the showtimes never work out. But we'll see. I'm not against it, but hey, Javier Portillo. Cheers to you, William, and thank you. I forget if I already did that or not, but cheers to you anyway. All right. Things that need to be explained. All right, so throwbacks. I had I guess it was there's a bunch of videos this week before I get into that. The In Living Color thing, I mentioned this on the Patreon postcards post that only went out to patrons, but I am sort of trying to do things that I'm just like, I would like to work on a video about that, even if it's not like necessarily a new movie or something like that. And the In Living Color Super Bowl halftime party was something I'd always like, well, what was that special? And I actually couldn't find a video of anyone like really reviewing the whole thing. I saw someone do a stream thing and they watched the halftime show. I have watched The Substance. The review is shot actually. I don't know when that's coming out, but the review is shot. That's done. Well, not edited, but so I made that. And so I might try to do more of that stuff. But I was happy with that video, not just because I'm the only one who did it, but also because sometimes I'm just like curious about stuff and I want to know. And I got to watch a lot of In Living Color. All that stuff is on YouTube, by the way. Like type in Living Color season 1, whatever episode. Season 4 is a little better, but honestly, they're all pretty. As long as James Carey, as he's credited. The only one was, oh God, what's his name? The black judge in the Supreme Court who's really conservative. He got sworn in during it was like news, and they have the only sketch I saw that really didn't age well, and they think like when he won and they say it's like a position for life, he's going to change his tune and be like really cool and like pro-black people, and that like did not happen. And I don't know, I was like, wow, you guys are really naive that this is what you thought. I don't know, it was like, It was kind of sad. I was like, I like that you thought that this would happen. It's not that it aged bad because, it's just like, I mean, they should have known he was an obvious conservative. But other than that, I didn't. But it's really good. I really seriously recommend it, or just find Fire Marshal Bill on YouTube. It's really good. It was really fun. I watched like a bunch of Living Color, and I'm actually just watching them in order now, randomly. And it's sort of like a show. I forget. I think I'm up to like 3 or 4, but I watch like random ones. But it is fun seeing like Jim Carrey, Jamie Foxx. Like some of the times you look at a sketch, you're like, God damn it, this is like $1 billion right here. Like, I don't know. That show's really good. Underappreciated. Disney needs to get that shit on streaming. I don't understand what's going on. What are the odds Paul Blart wins Best Picture? I don't know about this year, but I will. Let's be serious about Paul Blart. Bloxy, cheers to you. When Paul Blart came out and made money as a PG movie, this isn't a joke, it was super influential. So I think in that year, it sort of had a chance because it was very influential in Hollywood in terms of its success. Anyway, other stuff I did, Flow, Robots, all sorts of stuff like that this week. So I finally got those out. This weekend I'm doing a lot of family stuff, so there'll be some videos. But one that's tied to a throwback. Oh, I also did Throwback to Birth of a Nation because it's its 110th anniversary. I was a little worried about doing that, but it seemed like a lot of people watched it and checked it out, so that's cool. I mean, I wasn't like pro Birth of a Nation, or even the other movie called Birth of a Nation that everyone forgot about, which is why I reviewed the original. I don't know, the first one. It's not a remake. It was like a different movie about whatever. You can look up that whole nonsense. It's like a whole thing with that direct. Like, I'm not even joking. But anyway, so Captain America: Brave New World comes out this weekend. I probably won't get to see it till next week, but I was thinking of doing a throwback, and I thought I'd do just Falcon Winter Soldier. And then I found I'd never made a playlist, and I was like, okay, I'll make a playlist because, movie's coming out, and it is connected to that. And then I realized 2 things. One, I never made episode 6 a separate video, so I'm actually going to do that tomorrow. Tomorrow, that is the video, or tomorrow or Saturday, that is the video you guys are going to get. And then I also, the throwback is actually going to be the second episode reaction, and the reason for that is that has my cat Olive in it a lot, and I was like, I actually accidentally put that, like, I just had the playlist playing. So if you're wondering, yeah, I did say it's Sector Quit. So basically, like, yeah, but the second episode has my cat Olive, who's since passed away. So I thought I'll just share that one as the throwback. So if you forget I said this, that is why I thought it'd be a cool throwback. I thought it's probably my favorite of those videos anyway. But yeah. Hey, Chan Talks More Movies. But I think that's it. There'll be throwbacks and other videos, and I have some, like, since I'm busy, there's some, like, I don't want to say filler sort of things, but there'll be videos coming out and stuff like that. Okay, so next week, let's just do this and then we'll get into the real thing. Or no, I have trivia, sorry. Next week, I'm going to do a stream on Friday. We're actually going to start it at 10. Mercifully, thank you, Cornbread. But I want to hype this up a little. It'll be an earlier time for the most part, on the exact time, because there's not as much going on that day. And I sort of discovered something about somebody who I'm not friends with this person, who makes movie related review kind of things, and I will talk about it next week. So I hope that gets you hyped. I'm not really a drama channel, but I think it's sort of it's something I think we should talk about, and I'll talk about it next week, and I'm not going to tell you what it is, so you'll have to wait in suspense till next Friday, 10 o'clock. All right, anyway, let's do the movie trivia section. And I actually have a picture. I have 2 pictures I loaded up. You were like, why was he a few minutes late? mostly because of YouTube, actually. However, I also, there's pictures. We're getting crazy. So the first of the movie trivia, we have 3 movie trivia. One's a picture. But Jim Caviezel, you probably heard this one before, but there's an added section I noticed a lot of people don't know. So I'm just going to mention, if you know it already, that's fine. But Jim Caviezel was only in 5 films. Every single one was nominated for Best Picture. And then he died, he passed away. However, there is a 6th movie he was in, and that was also nominated for Best Picture. Now, you're probably like, what do you mean a 6th movie? What 6th movie? How could it be in 6 movies? He died. Well, he was in archival footage in Godfather 3, which is the only other movie his image is in that's like a feature film that could be nominated for Best Picture, and it was also nominated for Best Picture. I thought that was interesting. I didn't realize he had a 6th movie in there. All right, I found this to be really interesting. Everyone I explained it to looked at me like, what are you talking about? I saw this on a Reddit thing. I thought it was really interesting. It said, in addition to playing the Joker, Jack Nicholson and Heath Ledger actually have something else in common. Both were nominated for Oscars for 2 films. They did each... they were both nominated for Oscars for 2 films. They did each with a member of a famous brother-sister acting duo. Nicholson was nominated for Reds with Warren Beatty and Terms of Endearment with Shirley MacLaine. Heath Ledger was nominated for Brokeback Mountain with Jake Gyllenhaal and The Dark Knight with Maggie Gyllenhaal. Both men, each of their respective films within 2 to 3 years, and they both won the Oscar for the film they did with the sister. That's pretty crazy, right? Because Jack Nicholson won for Terms of Endearment with Shirley MacLaine. Shirley MacLaine and Warren Beatty are brother and sister. People forget that, but they are. And then Heath Ledger won for The Dark Knight with Maggie Gyllenhaal. I guess I meant John Cazale, because I'm sorry, the guy, he's in The Godfather, he's Fredo. Anyway, I found that to be interesting. Okay, here is the second one. I was like, that's crazy that they have that. Okay, so this is the other thing. My family and I watched The Blob. And there's a part in The Blob, the movie The Blob, the original The Blob, that I think this movie trivia section didn't work as well. Sorry. I should have made sure I said that guy's name. I apologize. Anyway, in The Blob, there is a section where the Blob comes through a movie theater. I recently found out through, I think it was Facebook or Twitter or something, that the theater in that movie has a plaque. And here is that plaque. It says, and I'll read it aloud to you. It says, throughout this wall in the year 1958, Shardy Yaworth's The Blob brought the monster into the movie theater and Phoenix's Colonial Theater into the annals of film history. Now, I will say 100% about this, that it definitely was a model. They didn't really go through that theater. However, I think that is really cool and really funny. And I just thought it was a cool thing to share. My kids thought it was cool too. So it was cool because we all watched The Blob. I thought that was like a fun thing. Anyway. Sorry. Caviezel. I should have learned how to say that. I really fucked that up. Embarrassing. I thought the Heath Ledger, Jack Nicholson one was a little wild to me. Anyway. I'll come up with better ones next week. All right. So this and everything I do is supported by you, the fans, in all seriousness, either through the super chats during the show, where I drink this rodeo energy drink that's really just a Red Bull and any other name, and then or my Patreon, where you get all sorts of cool exclusive stuff, including you get postcards, my commentary sheets, you get access to my public access show, which is the only way you can see it, all sorts of other exclusive videos, more power in the movie review vote, the movie review vote titles, and you get to know when I have new videos out and all that stuff. It also helps me to be able to make new stuff, and it's very appreciated. My patrons are all really awesome, cool people, and you can suggest movies in the movie review vote, all sorts of cool stuff. If, of course, you're financially able to do so. If you can give me a super chat, it'll wake me up, even though we started the show late, and I'm hopefully won't fall asleep during the show. So it'll help me stay awake, and that's always appreciated. But as long as you're financially able to do so, if not, You can always like this video, subscribe, or just watching is very appreciated. And thank you very much for doing so. Also, there is the Discord, which is a wonderful community. If you like everyone here in the chat here that I refer to, a great way that you can talk about a great way if you want to interact with everyone in the chat anytime is on the Discord. It's everything from general, where I talk about where we talk about general stuff, where I ask what they want me to talk about on movie crap this week, and Cornbread does the thumbnail prediction. There's the Ask Jim channel. There's the Suggestions for Jim channel. Sorry, I'm making this all about me. They do a movie watch. They're doing the 1990 Captain America movie. I recommend everyone, please. There's a video, maybe I'll post it, about that there was a director's cut of Captain America. It was supposed to be, of that movie, it's supposed to be edited differently. Unless I shared it already. I don't think I do. That's this Saturday. But they have movie discussions, artist promo, all sorts of cool stuff, licensed playing card things. When I show these off, if I get a new one, I'll show it off. All sorts of great. It's a wonderful community, and I very much recommend it. Also, I have a TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr, Facebook, all those things. If there's a social media thing, I'm probably on it in some degree. So if you want to see if you are on one of those, then look in the description down below. All right. Let's actually get into the show. Sorry I messed up that one. I still think the Joker thing's interesting. I'm a little embarrassed. All right. I have the How to Train Your Dragon trailer. We got another one, and it was in the Super Bowl. I will talk about the Super Bowl in its own section. However, I saw the new How to Train Your Dragon trailer, and it showed more of the girl in it and all that stuff. I still don't like this thing. I don't really understand. I especially like seeing so much promotion for two movies. Chris Sanders was involved with directing, getting remakes. Kind of sucks. On the time, like, he could win an Oscar, and he's, as nominated as Pete Docter and Hayao Miyazaki at the Academy. The amount of disrespect for this guy. It looks like kind of like cosplay and bad. And I just am like, also like, it hasn't been long enough. Like, this YouTube channel was regularly doing stuff when that first movie came out. It's like, doesn't feel right to have it not even 20 years later. I'm also like, I'm not sure. I don't know. The only time I'm curious is Dean Deblas helped direct both How to Train Your Dragon and animated and live action. I'm a little curious about that, but there's nothing from it that looks good. Like Gerard Butler's beard looks strange. It's just like, I don't get it. I don't get any of it, and why the character designs look the same. I know some people actually like that, but I'm also like, but then some of them don't. Like, I don't get it. I don't think it looks good. I think it looks horrible. I'm really not happy about this at all. And I love those movies, especially the first one. So I'm like really disappointed. I really just hope it bombs, because I don't want them to remake, like, 2 visually was so amazing. Like, I don't know. I'm more curious. I don't know. We'll get to the Lilo Stitch thing and all that. But just like, ugh, I just cannot get around this one. So let's talk about 2 Oscar things. We're kind of just going through stuff, but yeah. So I found this to be interesting, and I think most movie press people read into this. Originally, supposedly, the rumor was that if you've seen the Oscars ceremony before, for acting nominees, they have 5 other actors come out and they like talk about the actors, so they each get their own time and stuff like that. However, they, for some reason, not because of Emilia Perez, obviously, they decided we're not doing that this year. And most people have read into that because they previously, I think, said they were, or there was rumors they were, but they came out and said we're not doing it. I think we know why. It's because of Emilia Perez. I've never heard of an actor fucking up this bad. They're like, yo, we got to change the Oscars so we can acknowledge her as little as possible. I was just like, what the fuck is this? I know, like, Netflix won't, like, it's all just like tragic. But the fact that even the Oscars are like, we really, I don't know. It sucks because she is the first trans actress nominated, but at the same time, it's just the fact that they cut. I think they're going to do it for director only and some of the other categories, but they're not doing it for actor. And almost everyone's like, "Yep, we know why. Who are you going to hire to do that?" It's also like I do find it odd that thing because unless you have everyone nominated, like it's cool to see someone show up. If it's someone like from a foreign film and most of who they work for aren't very well known, it sort of doesn't, I don't think it works the same as, I don't know, it's sort of a weird idea because you really just need 5 people who like work with a lot of people. So you're like, like, I don't know, Ed Norton is nominated, like you had Brad Pitt show up, or Edward Furlong. I don't think you'd want Edward Furlong, but Brad Pitt showed up, or with Timothy Chalamet, if like not Army Hammer, okay, Zendaya, I don't know. Anyway, you can have people. It can work. It just sort of doesn't work when you have the foreign film people because it's like who aren't in Hollywood stuff. So it's like, oh, cool. Like it just, I don't know. It's sort of like not the greatest concept because whatever, but supposedly that's why it was cut. The other thing the Oscars have asked movies to admit, they use AI. The problem is in every case I found, these movies did admit it in the credits, but I guess they just have to tell the Academy that it's in the credits. So, okay, But apparently it's always been in the credits. It's never not credited. It's just you got to know what you're looking for. They could have just hired one dude who, like, knew these things, but instead they're making the movies admit it. So, yeah. Oh, I'll talk about The Dark Knight. All right. Yeah, a bunch of these are little ones. Okay. Well, that's good in a sense because we can just like blow through it. I don't know what I was thinking with the flow of this tonight, but I mean, I've hit a thumbnail. Where did I put the Annie Awards? I know I put them in here somewhere. Anyway, so maybe I will just talk about the Annie Awards. Somehow that got missing. All right, I'll talk about Flow, and then I have them up here. Why did I? Whatever. All right. So we learned that Flow, the movie I just put out a review of last night, is going to be in the Criterion Collection. I think that's really cool for Flow. It's wonderful. In fact, I think it's great for a small animated movie like that. However, Criterion Collection, and it's also going to be on Max tomorrow. So if you're like, I'd really like to see Flow, you can watch it tomorrow on Max, to my understanding at least. I really wish the Criterion Collection would step it up with animation. I was actually thinking about this already because I have a UPA DVD collection, which I love, and I was showing my kids and stuff. And there isn't one at, like, Criterion, like, make a Fleischer Brothers box set. Like, give Mr. Bug Goes to Town or Restoration or Gulliver's Travels or, and I know everyone's like, wouldn't it be great if Pinocchio gets a re-release? I'm like, would it? That's been available for so long. Like, I do actually think there's an audience for it because Time Masters, which I reviewed forever ago, suddenly was playing at the IFC Center here and was getting a reevaluation. There's so many anime and foreign animated films that could use the spotlight. I kind of don't like it when they're like, oh, this movie that has an already high profile. I don't know. Good for Flow. I think it's a step in the right direction, but Criterion needs to step it up in terms of animation. It's kind of embarrassing, to be frank, and there's so much animation out there that could really use a step, or like make a good Looney Tunes collection. I'd be cool with that too, but whatever. I know I've said this before, but yeah. Anyway, all right. So the Annie Awards. Let's just go through this. So the Annie Awards kind of give us mixed results in terms of how do we read this. I mean, obviously everyone reads these things in terms of what's going to happen with Best Animated Feature. You know what I mean? So I don't think you can. I think you basically come down to what are the two things. But also, man, Inside Out 2 really fell off with people. I mean, I am kind of shocked at how little love it's getting. When it was like what the highest grossing movie of the year was talked about all summer. You think when it came on Disney Plus, people would be like, "Oh yeah," and it's not a bad movie, but it's just like it's kind of a little crazy how it's just like not winning anything. Now, I think it's Pixar could not win stuff for a little bit, but it's just kind of shocking a film that was so discussed and is getting nominated is just like I was a little surprised. But for best, they separate best feature and best feature independent. So best feature, Wild Robot won, and best independent feature, Flow won. In terms of who was nominated for Oscars, Inside Out 2 and Wallace and Gromit were in best feature, as well as Ultraman Rising, That Christmas, which like what the fuck is that, guys? Kung Fu Panda 4, Inside Out 2, and Wild Robot. And then in independent, you have Chicken for Linda, Flow, Katsuki's Kingdom, Look Back, Stars, Mars Express, and Memoirs of a Snail, which is also, or Memoir of a Snail, which is also nominated for an Oscar. Why are there two ads in a row like that? That was weird. But it was good competition. But I kind of think this means Wild Robot's going to win, but the Annies cannot mean that. The other thing is for Special Production Award, Orion in the Dark, which, man, I think it kind of sucks that film. Just like, it's like it never even happened, to be totally honest with you. It's pretty ridiculous. Like, I thought it was a good movie. I'm a little disappointed that, like, nobody gives a shit. Oh, we have a super chat from Austin. Austin said, why do you want Jack Black's Colorist Travel on Criterion? Because if it's gonna mess up Emily Blunt's chances to be in the MCU, it should be in the Criterion Collection. Everybody knows that. Cheers to you, Austin. Although she kind of admitted she didn't. Only wanted to do it to work with Robert Downey Jr. So, best TV media preschool. They went with the Tiny Chef Show over Gabby's Dollhouse, which is surprising. I've never watched Tiny Chef Show, but best TV media children, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur, which of the ones, which was Gremlins, The New Batch, Jurassic Park, Chaos Theory, Primos, and Wandla, I think is the absolute best show. That show's amazing, so that's fucking awesome. Best TV media mature, Bob's Burgers, Beat, Solar Opposites, South Park, The Great North, and the second best hospital in the galaxy. I really haven't watched that many of those, so I couldn't say. I'm skipping over some that, like, best student production, I have no clue who that is, but good for them. Best TV... Oh, this is funny. I forgot about this. Best TV/media limited series, Dream Productions actually won over Iwaju, which that sucks for that thing. Moon Girl's Lab, Lego Star Wars Rebuilt the Galaxy, and My Adventures with Superman. Why is that in limited series? And that is... What? My Adventures with Superman lost to Dream Production? What the fuck is this shit? Fuck that. I'm sorry. Best FX feature, Wild Robot won. Best TV... FX TV/media, Arcane won. Man, Moana 2 didn't get nominated for very much. I mean, it wasn't that good, so it's fine, but it's just like, wow. Best character animation feature, Wild Robot won over Inside Out, Moana 2, Kung Fu Panda 4, and Wallace and Gromit. Why didn't you give that to Wallace and Gromit? Whatever. I mean, Wild Robot's cool, but that robot, I mean, come on, we know where that robot's from. You know what I'm saying? It's like... We know what Castle in the Sky that shit came from. I'm just saying. I would have gone with Wallace and Gromit. I'm just saying there. Okay. Oh, this is cool. Best character animation live action. Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes won over House of the Dragon, Godzilla, Kong, Gladiator 2, and Better Man. I don't know. That's a tough one. Best character animation video game, Neva. Not sure if that's good or not, but good for them. Best character design, TV media, Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur. I'm down with that. Best character design feature, Wild Robot again. I guess that's fine. Best direction, TV media, Arcane. Best direction, Chris Sanders for Wild Robot for a movie. Best music, Wild Robot. Arcane won again. Best production design, TV media, Arcane. Best production design feature, Wild Robot. Best storyboarding, Despicable Me 4? What the fuck? And that, Saving Bikini Bottom, Moana 2, Spellbound, wow, not a good category. What the fuck with storyboarding? did you see the storyboards or something? Like, what the fuck is this? Uh, Best storyboard in TV media, Arcane. Wow, they really liked Arcane. Best voice acting, Dream Productions won for Paula Pell. For Paula, is that Paula? Anyway, and beat Kristen Shaw, John Roberts. Hasman Hotel got a nomination, and for Io Debris for April O'Neil. Ow, I don't know if I like that. I would have gone with Io Debris. Best voice acting, Lupita Nyong'o won for Wild Road. That's well deserved. As well as Brian Tyree Henry got on there, Maya Hawke on there. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Sorry, you just see me react to stuff. Best writing, TV media, A Ryan in the Dark one for Charlie Kaufman. You know what? Agreed. Best writing for feature, Flow. I like that. Wild Robot wasn't nominated, so that's how that won. Best editorial, Wild Robot. Best editorial TV, Arcane. And that is everything. And people won for the Winsor McKay Award. Don't know who that is. There's an Up Iworks Award. Oh, cool. Didn't even know that. Anyway, those are the Annie Awards. Basically, Wild Robot won a bunch of shit. I think this basically shows you that it's Wild Robot's world. We're just living in it. No, I think if anything, it shows the real competition we're seeing is between Flow and Wild Robot. It seems like those are surging, but I seriously am surprised that Inside Out 2, I still think it has like a chance at winning Best Animated Feature, but I just don't see it. I think Wild Robot just, it's also Wild Robot stuck around for theaters. There's a lot of word of mouth behind it. I still see people say, "Oh, have you seen that?" Like, I think it did well, but not well enough where like all of it got taken away. You know, it's like the momentum's still going for it. So I think it's also like, I also think the Chris Sanders thing helps because it does feel like a Chris Sanders year. You know what I mean? It like, anyway, we'll see what happens. I hope it doesn't go to Inside Out 2. I know the Academy is. All right, so other Disney things, and okay, so obviously Trump, hates people who aren't white. That's his whole thing. So I know everyone says it's DEI, but let's just say he's kind of racist and kind of, take out the kind of and is. And a lot of people are saying that Disney and Confirmed by Variety is changing the disclaimer that auto plays before certain titles, like Dumbo and things like that. So the previous version says this includes negative depictions and mistreatment of popular cultures, while the new one says this program is presented as originally created and may contain certain stereotypes or negative depictions. I watched the Peter Sellers Muppet Show, and that has like a whole gypsy sketch, that's what they call it, in there. And it did have the thing, it had the old one, but it said they are changing it. Hasn't changed. I mean, I don't know. It seemed to me like if you're going to watch it, a lot of people don't even notice that stuff from the people I've asked about it. So I don't know if it's like as big. It sucks that it's like the reason they're doing it, to be honest with you. I think that's the part that stinks. But I don't know if it, like, I think a lot of the people who this is happening to, or I think a lot of people who might complain about it don't realize that most of the parents don't. I think a lot of people don't care, unfortunately, which sucks, but that's just sort of how it is. But whatever. So the Godzilla -1 director, I should have flowed this better. All right, whatever. The Godzilla -1 director has admitted he is now working on, he's now writing the sequel. I hope this comes sooner rather than later, but I kind of want him to take his time. He's working on a screenplay and working on storyboards, which I think is a good idea for this movie. I'm really curious what a sequel would be, when it will take place. If it'll even be with the same people. You don't necessarily need to do that with the Godzilla movie. So I'm excited for that. Godzilla movies are in a really cool time. You know, we watch. Oh yeah, that's right. My kids and I watched Mothra. I think I said that last week, and that was fun. And I think we might watch the '90s Mothra sooner or later. Other news, and this is kind of interesting, I guess. John Lithgow is in final discussions to play Dumbledore in the Harry Potter show. Supposedly this was Mark Rylance's to lose, but unfortunately his wife died, and he didn't want to commit to this major thing after that. But it is weird. I think someone pointed this out in the Discord. I've seen other people point out. It's like J.K. Rowling had a very strict, like, only English actors rule. And, like, I know John Lithgow is, like, pretty good at being English and stuff. Like, he was Winston Churchill on The Crown. And he was good at it, but he's not English. Unless I'm misunderstanding or something. But I think, yeah, odd choice. I kind of think it sucks he's going to be stuck on the stupid show. I don't know. I'm just like, I don't want J.K. I kind of want a break from her and this shit. And I don't know. I'm not sure if, like, I get why they want to do it, but, like, I just don't think, I'm just not into this. Like, I think you could acknowledge stuff, and I'm sure you can do it better. It was Austin pointed out. Okay. I think, certain ones, like the third book is really good and very different. And I like the third movie, but it's not really the third book. And there's stuff you could do, definitely. But I do feel like I'm sort of familiar with the books. I stopped reading them at some point. But to me, like 3 and 4 would be where it really gets good. And like, to me, like, are you going to be able to do 1 and 2 are pretty direct. So like, what you're telling me is, like, if I was making that show, I would be like, what angle would you even have with 1 and 2? And I think that's going to be something that, like, it's going to be really hard to get people to stick around for 3. Or people just wait. I do think there'll be fans who will just, watch the beginning and maybe wait. But honestly, probably won't. So, I don't know. I think at the best of it, it won't really work out. All right. So this is my favorite idea I've heard this week. And I never thought I'd say this. There's 3 people in the Twilight movies. I did rewatch a bunch of them for this, my tier list thing, which eventually I will. I have a bus ride coming up by myself, and I think I will hopefully edit some of the shit. But let's not get into that. This is called Taylor Lautner Werewolf Hunter. This is a real thing. I think this is awesome. And Taylor Lautner, I feel bad for him. Kristen Stewart is doing great. Robert Pattinson doing great. What happened to Taylor Lautner, you're asking? Well, this project this knows. Okay, here is the tagline. After wrapping the final Twilight movie, which I think is Breaking Dawn Part 2, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, Taylor Lautner vanished from the spotlight, which I think he did. Didn't he marry someone also named Taylor? What the fuck was that? Oh. Okay, we're okay. Anyway. Taylor Lautner vanished from the spotlight. Fans speculated. Tabloids theorized they didn't, but let's pretend they did. But the truth is wilder than fiction. Thank God. Taylor wasn't just taking a mental health break. I mean, I don't know about that. He was preparing for his real calling. Taylor Lautner, werewolf hunter. No, he's not Vampire Hunter D. Playing himself, Taylor is drawn into a secret society of werewolf trackers who need his unique expertise as he navigates his double life. Hollywood actor by day. I mean, I don't think he does that. Supernatural warrior by night. Taylor must wrestle with the ultimate irony, fighting the very creatures that made him famous. Between saving the world, reviving his career, and falling in love, he faces the ultimate question: what happens when your biggest role becomes your greatest? Oh my God, I love this line. That's not a long line. It's just a description, but it is fucking epic. I am so into this. Oh my God. Oh my God. Let's do it. This is, I'm down, man. This sounds like fun. It sucks that it's on Prime because this shit's, Tommy Tooby is pissed as all shit. It's not coming to Tubi because, man, this is, oh, I forgot who's in When We Could Be Heroes, man. That was a fun movie. All right. Anyway, I think that sounds awesome. I really like that. I literally so much like that concept. It's such a good, I'm down for that. I will watch the first episode 100%. If it's too dumb, then no. But if like I don't know, let's let Taylor Lautner do some dumb shit. You know what I mean? Is this the new Monster Trucks? Why not? We went to Monster Trucks and I was like, I think I said, well, I love Monster Trucks, and everyone looked at me and go, you know what? Go listen to Pizza Party. Leave me alone. All right. This weekend they're doing the 50th anniversary of SNL special. To commemorate that, instead of actually playing SNL at 11:30 or actually having these, they always do these anniversary specials not in Saturday Night Live's time slot. They always play it in prime time, which I'm like, okay, whatever. But they actually have a good thing that they're doing. Instead of playing a new SNL or just a rerun of the current season, they're actually going to play the first SNL. It will air at 11:30 on Saturday night, which I think is actually legitimately cool. While watching the In Living Color stuff, I was thinking that we don't really do enough cool vintage TV stuff that's outside of MeTV and MeTV News and stuff. So I think that's really cool that NBC's doing that. So if you've ever wanted to watch the first SNL, I'm sure you could on Peacock or whatever. But if you don't have Peacock, which I'm assuming is most of my audience and most people in existence, it will be on NBC on Saturday night at 11:30. I think that is cool. Laser Wolf had some cool ads. They're modeled after Space Ghost. And it's sort of like a Laser Wolf thing of Space Ghost. A very long-time friend of the channel, Jared Weiss, storyboarded them. I think they're really great. I don't know Laser Wolf as well as I should, but I will say they were really cool. So I just wanted to shout those out. I think I retweeted it or Blue Sky. I'm going to have trouble tweeting during the Oscars. So they usually do that, but I think I'll just like stay on Blue Sky. I can't, this between the whole thing. I don't know. But anyway, I thought they were cool. So we have 2 scrapped movies that were like completed, but then completely scrapped. And I'm confused about both. One was a Pharrell biopic, and you're like, wait. Okay, I will link the Laser Wolf things in the Discord. Good point, Cornbread. So go to the Discord in general. I'll try to do it tonight, if not tomorrow morning. That's the reason to go to the Discord. There you go. So Pharrell Williams even though he had a previous Lego biopic, he was also going to have a live action biopic, which cost like $20 million. It was going to be directed by Michel Gondry. They made this movie. NBC made this movie, right? And then they sort of unanimously decided when it was all done that this was not what they wanted to do artistically. They didn't think it was very good. And they decided to completely shelve it. I sort of don't love this thing in Hollywood where, first off, like, why are you shelving a whole movie? You have a streaming service. Just put it on there, man. Second, why did you make a second Pharrell Williams bio? Like, I'm so confused on why we have 2 of them. Like, that seems dumb. And then you didn't spend a ton of money. And then you're scrapping. Like, it's completed? Like, I don't know. I don't know what's going on with Michel Gondry. I don't understand Universal. I don't understand what's going on with any of this shit. But, like, it just seems stupid. And I don't like this Hollywood thing where, like, oh, well, it doesn't count. And I'll just move on to another thing. Like, there's no stakes to, like, I watched the Will Ferrell, Reese Witherspoon movie. And, like, had it come out in theaters and, like, bombed or succeeded, that would be something. But, like, because it's on streaming, like, I was, like, reading how, like, Will Ferrell makes, like, $20 million for, like, the Apple Christmas movie he did, Spirited, maybe? Or, like, Eurovision, or then this. And he just doesn't have things in theaters anymore. He just does these streaming things. And, like, some of them, it's, like, it's not necessarily the quality. I didn't really like Spirited that much. But, like, it's not necessarily the quality that's bad or something. But just the fact that, like, I don't even have any concept of how big or small Will Ferrell is, but he's still making $20 million checks because he can do that. And, like, I kind of hate that Hollywood now. It's like these people can, like, just keep going in forever doing this sort of thing and just bouncing from streaming service or, like, make a movie and go, I don't know, it sucks. Why don't we just, like, get rid of it? And then they do. And it's like, it's one thing if it costs, like, a lot less than that. But like, what are we? I don't know. I just think the no stakes of it is really just helping these big stars and extreme rich people continue to make stuff. And like, it'd be one thing if they're making like groundbreaking different things, but I don't know. I just think like, why did you make this after like pick one? You don't get two biopics, right? One after the other like this. And I don't know. I think it should have just gone to streaming. I find it really disappointing that this. I'm kind of curious if it's like something weird's going on. Is sort of what I suspect, but I have no basis for that. The other one is a Prince documentary, which I talked about in my Ava DuVernay almost directed thing, which she left that project a while ago because of the estate of Prince being obnoxious. And what killed this is, surprisingly, the estate of Prince being obnoxious. It was directed by the guy who made OJ Made in America. They did not like that people were portraying Prince in a negative way, which, like, look, I love Prince. I listen to at least a Prince song a day, I would say. I think I went through a thing of just trying to listen to all his, from the beginning, his first album till Batman is considered his great period. But even past that, he has some, I love Prince a lot. But there are 100% things about him that are problematic and weird, and like the fact that like what his wife gave birth in their home and the baby died and they tried to like get rid of it without the state knowing. It's just like why would you do that? Who fucking does that? Like, dude, like I don't know. And I've always heard like weird things about him, like in Carmen Electra and stuff like that. That this is out there. This is not like rumors. These are documented. Like the baby thing was on Oprah, for fuck's sake. But apparently they don't want that emphasized. They just want the same Prince stuff, which is why Ava DuVernay left. And this guy gets like fucked over, and I'm sure he would have made a great Prince documentary. I don't really see the problem with him saying like things that are true, but apparently, you know, it's their estate. They don't want to do it. But I don't know. I don't get like this whole thing of like, let's make a whole movie and just not release it. But there are two movies that we learned today that we will never see. One, a Prince documentary, which apparently was too long based on the agreement, which that, you know, okay, they might have made a comment, cut it down or something. But the Pharrell one, I'm just like, you could have just released it. You put out that Fresh Prince Serious thing. I don't know anybody who watched that. You definitely spent more than $20 million on that. I just don't. I'm also like I wouldn't mind a Pharrell thing if it was him and Timbaland and Missy and I think the Clips, maybe, I'm not sure. They were all in like this, like one of the guys from was it Jodeci or something? Because Pharrell worked on Rump Shaker with Teddy Riley, but he also like I forget who it was, but there was some R&B singer he set up in Virginia, and he got them all together, and they're all working together. I would watch a movie about that, like all of them working together and collaborating and learning about music production. That would be really interesting. Like, if you ever want to make a Pharrell thing again, do it about him, Missy, Timbaland. I forget who, Genuine, I think, was there. I forget. It's like I forget what it was called, but it's like they're all in this like cool think tank thing. I'm telling you, they don't make good R&B hip hop movies. I don't want to be one of those dumb YouTube people like, well, if I was doing them, but it's like, make a Rakim movie that's like the only hip hop movie that would be really interesting, an Eric B and Rakim movie. And that's how you do a Pharrell one. Just like, it was just about that. That sounds like super interesting. Or make a documentary about that. That's like, you know, before all of them blew up, and, you know, Timbaland, Missy would do Aaliyah. Pharrell eventually would become who he is. It's like, you know, it might also be because, you know, Pharrell, like, if it has any of the stuff, how crappy he was to Khalees, then I guess probably wouldn't want that in there. All right. Rob Liefeld. Now, I want to bring this up because he actually has a really good point, but he did it in the most dumbass Rob Liefeld way, which is, you know, he's Rob Liefeld. He went to the premiere of Deadpool and Wolverine. He wanted sort of a credit saying it was created by Rob Liefeld, which you could say, yes, he is egotistical. But this has been a problem with Marvel for a long time. They do not really acknowledge comic creators. They often do not invite them to the after parties. I think whoever created the Winter Soldier only got into the after party because he texted Sebastian Stan. And apparently he was cool about it. Apparently, I read a thing that he was like, He was like he helped. I read it somewhere, and I wasn't sure how legitimate, but he's helped a few comic creators get in after parties. I don't know what truth is. Somebody, if you meet him, ask him if that's true. However, I get that Rob Liefeld is the richest of comic creators. That guy's got like excessive comic money and all this like '90s comic money and Image comic money, and he always gets good deals. But the fact that these guys always get disrespected premieres and they're the creators of the comics, and apparently the actors are nicer to them than like Feige, who barely acknowledged them, and supposedly they took pictures with Feige and then when Liefeld asked for the pictures, they deleted them immediately. I don't love that. And look, I know Rob Liefeld held this info so he could promote his book, and that's shitty. And Rob Liefeld is a weird, egotistical dude, and I get that. But at the same time, I gotta say, dude's got a fucking point. Respect these comic creators. You're not paying them real good. I understand he's the richest one, but I guarantee you, if we found out what that deal was, it's probably not even good enough. Yes, he did this in not the greatest way. And yes, Rob Liefeld has an ego. But if you're using your actual public thing to bring up an issue with Marvel Comics, Marvel Studios, and they don't respect Marvel Comics creators, I agree with it, because I was hearing Mr. Sunday Movies was going through the Captain America movies, and I was watching it, and he mentioned that with Winter Soldier. I've heard it with other people. We seriously just be nice to these people. To me, it's like if I was working on one of these, I would want to be friends with these people. So you know what? Rob Liefeld might have an ego, but at least his ego brought an issue up that needs to be talked about more. We need to respect comic book creators. I will reserve my criticism of Mr. Liefeld's ego. Okay. Trailer. We're going to do trailer runtimes, and then we'll finally talk about the Super Bowl stuff. I'm sorry. I should have... Whatever. Oh, no. Then we have an image. All right. So there is a actual... before I talk about trailers, this is a real thing, and I thought it was worth... fucking Vulture. You won't even let me look at the article. God, I really hate... Anyway, so there's a congressman, I guess I can't look at the link, who wants to put up a policy so you know that so you know how long the trailers are before a movie. In my mind, it's 20 minutes. It's always been 20 minutes. It's been that way for a long time. But he wants to have it because it has gotten worse. Like they'll start late, and then it's like almost 25 minutes. Especially when you're taking a kid to the movies, and they're like, "Dad, where's the movie?" And like that sucks. And I agree with that. Oh, hey, Rat Boy Mickey, thank you very much. It's been so long since we catch stream. Well, I'm glad you're here now, and cheers to you. I do think it's certainly gotten out of control lately. And I actually sort of agree. So I'm cool with this, but in my mind, it's usually 20 minutes, but I know they've exceeded it a bit, and I think they need to calm down between all their dumb shit. But yeah, it has been like 25 minutes. I think it's like they need to chill. The commercials need to calm down. Like they need to think about it. It's like you got us all back post-COVID. Well, not truly, but you're getting closer. And that's like, don't put like, it's also like, I think the problem with the trailers is like, I like trailers for the most part, but like, there's a lot of times, by the time I'm seeing it in the movies, I've seen it like 4 times or something between like TV and like I watch it on YouTube and then it's playing on Twitter and then there's clips on TikTok. And it's like, I don't know. I think like maybe it's time to minimize it. You know, I don't mind 20 minutes, but I think past 25, I don't know. I don't think I've seen the Superman trailer before or anything, but we'll see. So I've 2 trailers I want to talk about. The day the Earth blew up, we finally got a trailer that shows the March, I believe, 15th date. It looked like a fun trailer. Showed to my kids. I liked Daffy Duck's butt exploding and all the explosions in it, and it looked like a really fun movie. So I'm excited for that. Looks decent. Down for that. The trailer for this movie, Friendship, which looks very strange. showing the guy from like I Think I Should Leave, I think it's called, and Paul Rudd, and he like his wife's like you should go meet the new neighbor, and he starts a friendship, and then they kick him out of this dad group or whatever. It looked a lot of fun, but my favorite part, this whole thing at the end, he goes like, "Hey, we should see the new Marvel. It looks really good." I was like, okay, that I like it. The way he said it made me laugh. I was like, maybe we should see the new Marvel. It's like, I don't know why it made me laugh. Anyway, all right. Here's the second image, guys. I know you're excited. Everyone calm down. Calm down, everyone. So, I have the exclusive first image that was other places of The Dark Knight. No, not the one that's been out for a long time. This other one with Armie Hammer. Now, this is an exclusive image. I haven't seen I Think You Should Leave. I should see it. It's just everyone's told me to watch it. I've seen a bunch. I think I've seen enough of the sketches. Like I've seen the what's the thing? Where he's over the pool, the zip line. I saw the zip line thing, and I saw the 55 burgers, 55. I've seen those sketches, so I think I've probably seen a few sketches, but I haven't like watched the full episode. I should. Anyway, this is the exclusive first image. I want everyone to calm down. This is it. As you can see, he's stepping on crime. U-Ball shows us that society is stepping on this, and he's stepping on. I'm not really sure who he's stepping on. It's weird. He's like, "Call me by your name, bitch. I'm stepping on you. I'm going to step on you." So that's the real image of the Dark Knight that they released to the public to hype this movie. So get excited, everybody. I know. I spoil you guys with these like exclusives, don't I? Anyway, all right. Let's actually go into box office and Super Bowl stuff. And I was like, maybe people won't let me to talk about the Super Bowl, but I feel like you actually do. We'll go through Super Bowl stuff, and we'll talk about the halftime show. I did watch the Puppy Bowl. I believe Fluff beat Ruff, which is pretty cool. I watched it like we're all watching as a family, and it seemed to me that Sophie didn't know that it was like not real. It was just puppies playing, and she looks a little. Or my wife told her that, and she looked a little surprised. So anyway. Which is kind of funny. I guess she didn't realize. But it's just a fun thing with puppies. They did do some Superman stuff. James Gunn showed up with his dog, who he adopted, and talked about how it helped Crypto the Superdog. They played the Superman trailer, I think, twice. So, I think we watched all of the Puppy Bowl and just watched the halftime show, really. And then, the Super Bowl's just on for a while. But yeah, Fluff beat Ruff this year. I liked Fluff more. You could tell who Fluff voted for. I don't have much to say about the ads that aren't trailers. I did actually write down I went through all the trailers that were posted. The Doritos ad where this person is eating Doritos and an alien light comes in and he closes the window and the light does a Looney Tunes thing of carrying him. That one I actually really liked. I like that ad. I've seen it since. I'm like, that's a funny ad. We need more Looney Tunes ass shit in our ads. The Tubi ad was weird, and I'll only say something. Despite the allegations, Tommy Tubi is not a part of the marketing team. As I've told you before, he shows up with his vape and a cup that no one's actually sure what it's in. Might it be one of those THC seltzers mixed with vodka? And then he falls asleep on his desk and calls for people he knows from acquisitions and then falls asleep in a meeting? Absolutely. Tommy Tubi is a god. But he does not have anything to do with marketing. I refuse to accept these allegations that he has anything to do with those ads. He would not have approved that because he doesn't care about marketing and thinks that's not my fucking problem, which is the most Tommy Tubi thing you can say. So I don't know. There was a David Beckham course. I didn't really watch all of it, so I don't know. All right, let's go through. I'm going to do a speed round of trailers. And there's actually a couple I liked. The Smurfs one was whatever. I don't really get why we're doing Smurfs again. Jurassic World was about the same. I'm noticing people are not into this Jurassic World thing. Also, why is it not called Jurassic Park Reborn or whatever? Why is it called Jurassic World? Are you telling me Jurassic World as a brand is stronger than Jurassic Park? I don't think so. The Novocaine one was fun. The How to Train Your Dragon was about the same, which is not good. No Captain America trailer was odd. I was a little confused. Everyone tells me the F1 trailer was good. It really wasn't. I'm sorry. It was just like a bunch of quick cuts. And like, I actually don't like Brad Pitt that much. So it's sort of like, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. I'm not a F1 pro. I saw it like once. I was like, that's fine. I don't know. It just like, it did not, I didn't really get it. Whatever. The Mission Impossible Final Reckoning did look fun. I'm into that. And then he introduced both teams at the beginning of Super Bowl. Why Tom Cruise was like all over certain elements of it. And then there was an ad for no, Jurassic Park did make $1 billion. Not adjusted for inflation because of a re-release, I believe. It made it close. Jurassic Park. Anyway, we don't need to get into it, but it should be. They played the same Megan 2.0 trailer they played during the Grammys, which I was like, what? I didn't really get that one. I thought that was odd. Here are the two things, and I got to admit one of them, but I'll say the first one. This is the first Thunderbolts trailer ad thing I've seen that I kind of liked. I thought was decent. I thought they did a good job with how they cut that together. So good for the Thunderbolts. That's Buster. He's hanging out. And then, look, I don't want to admit this, and I don't feel good about this. The Lilo and Stitch ad was actually kind of good. All right? I don't like it. I don't like that it was. But, like, Stitch messing around on the football field, it was a good Stitch ad. I'm sorry to say this. All right? I don't like it. I don't like it. But it's like, this is the world we live in now, guys. I don't know what to tell you. All right? I don't feel good about myself saying this. So, but it was, I was like, all right, that was a good ad. That was a good ad. Him like running around the field and creating and being Stitch. I'm not happy. But I can't say it was bad. It was good. It was good. Showed no clips of the movie. It's probably why I liked it. But it was a good ad. I'm sorry. A lot of people are saying this. What I do love about movie people on podcasts and things, so many of them are like, is Lilo and Stitch big? And I'm like, motherfucker, are you for real? Do you know how much merch I see every day of Lilo and Stitch? Come on. All right. The other thing is the halftime performance. How much time? What do I have back? Okay, it's just Marvel stuff and then box office, I believe. The halftime performance of and I have an obit at the end I need to talk about. The halftime performance of Kendrick Lamar. I was very excited for this performance. I do like Kendrick Lamar quite a bit. I like the GNX album a lot. But I think the thing with this performance, and I've actually watched it a bunch of times. In fact, if you're wondering, you can see the Palestinian flag during the A minor part. If you watch, if you look in, I think it's the left-hand corner, you can see it when Serena Williams is dancing too. I think most halftime performances are more like the Dr. Dre one, which is the only other hip-hop one, where it's like a bunch of guest performances. You play the hits. Everyone's excited. On your way to work the next day, you'll listen to songs, the hits. Everyone's happy. It's a celebration. This was not what that was, and not what this was trying to be. It was a mixture between George Clinton, Ralph Bakshi, and Spike Lee, and done in a hip-hop way. But I've never seen anyone in a major performance ever in my life or on television demand that their kind of music matters and almost not give a shit if you don't feel that way. Lyrical hip-hop, which Kendrick Lamar is, and lyrical hip-hop is like storytelling, which is very much what he did in that performance, from starting with someone like Slick Rick to Nas to Lupe Fiasco to what we have now. But yeah, I think he did a really good job because it is a story. Having Sam Jackson there was wonderful. I guess it's referencing Chirac. I never saw Chirac, but it's also referencing Do the Right Thing. But it was like a story. It was a full performance. It was artistically like a full thing. And yes, it was not a traditional Super Bowl performance. It felt odd watching it, but watching it later, and the audio is better on the YouTube one, to be honest with you, than the one on broadcast, in my mind. It's really, really good. And I do think we're going to look back on this 20, 30 years from now and be like, holy shit, that was like one of the best ones. Like, I think to me, Prince, still best one. The Michael Jackson one is good. It's just too much of the We Are the World, Kids Are Great stuff. Not because of the allegations, just because I don't like those songs. But this was pure, not just pure hip hop and pure lyrical hip hop and the storytelling, but it was very Kendrick Lamar. Like, no one else could have done that way at all. Like, to a degree that I think a lot of these people, like, how different is it? But, between SZA and the mustard thing, and I did get my kids, I was like trading them all day. That day I was like, all right, you yell mustard, and my son will still yell mustard for several days later. But you got to yell mustard, come on. As a hip hop fan, I thought it was probably, and if someone just likes the art, there's so many times where what you like is like disrespected and shat on, and I from my I like really love film criticism, and I feel like oftentimes you have to demand that people take it seriously as an art form, which pisses me off. And I feel like so many in the arts, you have to like sort of demand your own sort of importance and show people what you can do with it. And I think he did that with that. Obviously, other elements as well. I'm not fucking dumb. But it's really hard to watch that and not go like, holy shit. Like, the breath control is amazing, but come on. That moment where he goes, say Drake, and he's like smiling was insane. And the other part that was crazy was the A minor part. I think my wife was just like, oh, whoa. Like, I'm sorry, Drake. You need to go away. I know he has an album coming out tomorrow. I just don't see. I would maybe do something else. I don't know. If I was Drake, I would make a weird album next. I would not try to make the same shit. Which it sounds like that's what he's doing. Which I wouldn't have put it out this week. I don't know what he's thinking. Wow. Hello, Al Shiraf. Thank you for being here for a second. But anyway, I watched that performance a lot of times. It might end up being go down in a top 10 Super Bowl performances. I think it's one of the greatest televised hip hop performances of all time, without a doubt. And I think he brought it to a degree that very few people could have ever done it. It was just insane. But I love the TV off part. I like that Mustard came out. I thought that was actually cool. But that's like also, I'm going to be honest with you right there, that is hip hop. That is a hip hop video. The producer dancing in the background, I was like, oh my God. Oh my God, you did it. I was like, that's awesome. I love that. Like, I'm so used to like the Big Pimpin' video, and you had, Timbaland was just there, or you'd have, Dr. Dre show up at the end of Let Me, like, that was always the thing. You always had the producer in the video dancing and doing this stuff. And when he did it, I was like, oh my God, I love it. I love Sam Jackson and that, like, fucking wonderful. I don't know. There's so many layers to it. And I love that, like, he's, the the cheat code part when he's like, I was like, oh yeah, that is true. And I like that he was almost commenting on the album cover to Pimp a Butterfly, because that is like a cred cheat code, because you have like a ton of people, from the hood or whatever, like, so it shows like your legitimacy. And I love that he like made fun of himself for what is considered to be his best album. Classic Cameron, top 5 Kendrick songs. I'm a little obsessed with the TV off right now, so it'd be really hard to not put that one. I would probably say, what's that freestyle where he's like, Martin had a dream? That would have to be in there. I would say swimming pools, drowning pools. I would put in there. That's 2. Let's see. I did TV off. I think Humble. Whatever that song is he did with U2, I think it's on Damn. I actually really like that song, so I'm gonna put that in there. Maybe that would be it. Oh, all right should be in there. All right, which he didn't do. Backstreet Freestyle. There we go. Thank you. A lot of people notice he didn't do all right. He did all right on the Super Bowl previously. So, anyway, I think I've talked enough about that. Sorry, I can really go on about hip hop, but I watched it a lot of times, and the more I watched it, I was like, holy shit! Like, he not only did it, he just showed like demanding like. Demanding it as an art form, like saying like this is an art form, this is hip hop, this is what lyrical hip hop is, and it is very hard to get people to care about that. Like, and damn, like I thought he really brought it. I really like it a lot. I really like it a lot. So I think it's gonna go down pretty tremendous. And I like SZA with her, the choreography. I heard people say she lip sync. I don't believe that to be true in my mind, but I'm not an expert. All right. Let's move on to a little Marvel section. I'm not going to say the running long thing. I think we're okay. But the way they laid it out, goddamn. That's Serena. I will say the funny thing about the Serena Williams thing, I was like, why do they keep cutting to this lady? Who's this lady? I was like, and then later I was like, oh, this is Serena Williams. Apparently everyone else in my family knew that. Except me. Even though she is mentioned in Not Like Us and all this stuff. But like, I don't know. I like Not Like Us. I don't think it's my favorite, but I do like. And I did the remix. You can check it out, or MIDI remix. I'm not. Anyway. All right. So, are you excited for the new Marvel? All right. So here's some Marvel rumor stuff. We keep hearing about Mr. Sinister. I'm not exactly sure if he's going to be the villain. I don't think he should be the first villain, but there keeps being cast rumors about Mr. Sinister. We keep hearing about Javier Bardem, who I previously talked about how Marvel wanted him for Galactus, but he has a certain price, and it is not low. So apparently he does like to get paid for these studio things, and good for him. He's Javier Bardem. He's a talented actor. I wish he'd do more interesting stuff and not just studio shit, but whatever. He is in the line for Mr. Sinister. Julia Butters, who, if you're wondering who she is, if you saw Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, DiCaprio, she says to DiCaprio, like, that was the greatest acting I've ever seen. And she's in the TV show with him. She has a lot of Hollywood. I always hear about her in casting. A lot of movie press people are very pro her, which is good for her, actually. Really helps you. Whoever played Dora, like, she was a movie press favorite for years and years, and it definitely helped her in casting. I'm not just saying that to hype up a bunch of dumb idiots. It really does help you, because that means you're getting more articles, more SEO, and she's one of those people. But the rumor is that she would be who do they get for that, Race Innes or something? But the rumor is she would be Kitty Pryde. I think she would be a good Kitty Pryde, although I don't know if she's Jewish and Kitty Pryde is Jewish, but whatever. The other rumor that we keep hearing is that, and I it's one that's not going away, and it's one that I find interesting. We know Denzel has said he was going to be in Black Panther 3. We don't know what he's going to be in Black Panther 3. To our understanding, they are looking for a T'Challa replacement, or T'Challa's son, or whatever the fuck it's going to be, but they're looking for a new Black Panther. Which is not Denzel, trust me. But there is this thing of who's going to play Magneto and Charles Xavier. And no one's sure what's going to be. A lot of people are saying they're not going to be able to do the Magneto thing, the Holocaust thing. They're going to be doing something different. The rumor is that Denzel Washington will play Magneto. Now this goes into, and don't mention Double Toasted, I'll bring that up, don't worry. I watched that today. To get Denzel to be Magneto, that would sort of legitimize the whole idea of Magneto is Malcolm X, Professor X is Martin Luther King. Double Toasted did a clip about how he the one guy in Double Toasted, Corey, I believe, said that he found that to be bullshit. I agree. I agree that it is not a great metaphor. I think it's just a quick reference type of thing, but I like that he went into it. I think someone should have. That was a cool video. But if this is true, I think it'd be a crazy thing to do. But I think it is sort of like what Marvel's doing right now, which is huge casting to like sort of bring themselves back. I don't know if like will Denzel show up and like because Magneto and Doctor Doom are characters who keep showing up and like if you overcast them, can that person keep doing that or will Denzel just do that so he can collect like huge checks and like not do anything else? We'll see. You didn't have to retract that, M. Blunty. Anyway, the other thing I'm hearing is that X-Men. Okay, whatever. But yes, it should be recommended. It's a good video. The other thing I keep hearing about. I mean, people are saying he would be a survivor of something with civil rights. I've heard people say the Tulsa thing, but we'll see. But yeah, I keep hearing that X-Men will come out either 2 to 3 months after Secret Wars, or even 6 months after Secret Wars, or like happen in the winter, and they'll shift X-Men movies to winter rather than the summer. We'll see if that happens, but that's the rumor right now. All right, it's about 12:08. I assume because we started at 10:45, I'd like to finish by 12:45. So we'll see about that. I don't actually think Denzel will be Magneto. I think that's stupid. But I think the fact that the rumor won't go away, part of me thinks it's movie press people trying to hype shit up for clicks. I just want to acknowledge it and talk about it because it has been talked about. I want to acknowledge here that I think it's probably unlikely. I could see him thinking about it though, because it's like a juicy part. I think he would do good as Magneto, but I don't know if it'll happen. But I will note my reservations. All right, let's talk about. Well, okay. Before we talk about this is a box office thing. This is the box office section, then obit, and then we'll take a break, and you know how it works. There's a Chinese animated blockbuster, this is Nezha 2. It is literally shattered box office records. This is a real thing, by the way. It is the first film in a single market to gross $1 billion in that market. What does that mean exactly? In China, it is grossed $1 billion. The other film that had that was The Force Awakens in America, and I think it was at like 900 something, and it broke that record. This is apparently what a few box office people are talking about that. But the fact that we're seeing this more and more, same with like Wolf Warrior 2, or movie review vote favorite, or I guess not, but whatever, is that we keep seeing films just do well in China, and as they stop using American films as much, their box office is becoming more and more Chinese, and we're just seeing them have like these huge things. So a lot of box office people are saying what we're gonna see in the future is the highest grossing films will all be like just huge hits in certain markets, but not hits that like transcend that. Maybe that'll be like the top 5, but like the other $1 billion movies, we might see like these surges and stuff like that. So it's interesting. I don't know Nezha 1, but I think it is insanely crazy that it is done that well, and that something took off like The Force Awakens was. I had actually heard that before, that it was the highest grossing film in a single market, because Star Wars is very big in Japan. In America. Fuck that up. But that's really interesting, and we're probably going to see that more in other markets. It seems like China in particular, that is where its box office has gone more to local hits, and that's insane there. I'm kind of curious about that. I've not even watched a trailer. In fact, I didn't know the name of it. I just knew about this movie. The American box office was not great. Not great at all. Because it's Super Bowl weekend and all the new movies didn't do great. Dogman is still number one but it went down 61%, which is not great. The two new releases, Hard Eyes and Love Hurts. Love Hurts really did not do great, and actually opened in third, and apparently cost more than Hard Eyes, and had more promotion. And it did, the only movie I've seen get bad reviews, and people are like, "Man, I hate doing this. Like, I hate giving this." So I think people wanted K-Wee Kwan to have a hit. It didn't work out. I'm sorry for him. But Hard Eyes seems to have a little more momentum behind it. The $3 million difference, Hard Eyes made about 8. Hard Eyes made 8.3. Love Hurts made 5.8. But the theory is that Hard Eyes will continue to play through Valentine's Day and continue to go, particularly based on the per screen average, which was 26,000 versus Love Hurts 1,800, which is still good. That it can continue, but Love Hurts, it just looks like the public perception is down. We'll see if people are right on that. I sort of believe it because horror sells better than action these days. So yeah, the other things, Mufasa is still in the top 5. It is definitely outgrows Sonic. Actually, not that much, but whatever. The other one in here, good night, Dan. Thank you for being here. I hope to see you next Friday. And you have a good night, man. But we also see Becoming Led Zeppelin, which was a big IMAX documentary about Led Zeppelin or something, had a huge per screen average. It was only 369 screens, all IMAX screens, I think. Had the biggest per screen average, I think, of the whole box office. It made about $6,000 per screen, which is insane. Yeah, it was the biggest, right? Oh no, Pentranopope. Okay, another film, 2 other films did better, but in the top 10 it did the best. But I don't really see much. Oh, Picnic and Hang Rock got a re-release. Sometimes when I scroll down here, I'm like, and Swept Away, I'm assuming, didn't we talk about this? I think it's the original Swept Away. We talked about this, blah, blah, blah. Why am I bringing it up? Okay, no other real box office things. Oh, Presence is just sinking. Oh, basically anything that is not One of Them Days is just not doing that great. One of Them Days is at 39 million. Obviously, SZA was in the Super Bowl. I expect that film to continue to hold well. But I think Captain America is going to sort of decimate take away a lot of screens from a lot of people. But almost everything continues to drop tremendously. The only thing that went up is I'm Still Here, which went up 91%. But yes. Is there anything else on here? Yeah, not much else. Okay, I have one obit, and it's a personal one. And then we'll take a break. Chris Newman, who is an Oscar-winning sound recordist, sound mixer, who did things like The Exorcist, The Godfather, The English Patient, Primary Colors, many things. I believe he has 3 or had 3 Oscars. Good night, Austin. He was also my sound teacher in school, and I really loved being taught by him. He's honestly was a great teacher. When I was much more into sound mixing, I think I was the only kid who didn't just listen to the stories and learned about the sound mixing. He always had cool stories. Like I think when he won his Oscar for The Exorcist, he had Coppola wouldn't let him leave or something. Is that right? Anyway, I think it was that. Coppola wouldn't let him leave, and he had to watch it in a bar, is what he told me. I think that's right. Anyway, he was one of the great sound mixers. In my mind, he was one. I mean, I've had 2 of my great teachers leave me in the past year, Howard Beckerman and Chris Newman, who were both very old, even when I knew them. But I don't believe he is related to those guys, Kyle Garrison. But thank you for asking. He was a great teacher. He's a great man. We would go through, he would have us break down, he would show us a scene. I remember he showed us a scene from Primary Colors, and we had to break down how he put the mics on, how he mixed it. My answer was too complicated, and he said, "Why did you say that? That you made it so much harder than it was." It was like, I don't know. I would always give answers like that, but he was always like, kind of complimented. We talked about mixing, talking about natural sound mixing a lot, talked about the theory of sound. Just a really smart guy. Like, if there's ever a guy who's going to win 3 Oscars for sound in movies, he's honestly just like an absolute genius. I did the French Connection, I believe. Let's just bring up this motherfucker's thing. Like, hold on, Chris Newman, sound engineer. That's what he's credited for. Just an all around, like, he has 3 Oscars. He did Amadeus. Oh my God. The Exorcist, The English Patient, Silence of the Lambs. His last movie was What Happens in Vegas. I'm sorry, Chris. Before the Devil Knows You're Dead. The Manchurian Candidate, the new one. I remember when he did that, actually. Man on the Moon. You've Got Mail. Primary Colors. I'm just going to go down this. The People vs. Larry Flynt. The English Patient. Nell. Silent Fall, which I have sort of a connection to because I went to school with the kid who was in that. Philadelphia. I'm just going to say the big ones. Married to the Mob. Wow. Wall Street. Amadeus. He did Beat Street? Damn, this dude. Tender Mercies. Anyway, this dude was an absolute legend. I'm very sad that he's gone. I'm not... My favorite year? God damn, dude. All That Jazz. Hair. Annie Hall. Mickey and Nicky. Strike Horse, The Taking of Pelham 1, 2, 3, The Exorcist, Cops and Robbers, The Heartbreak Kid, The Godfather, The French Connection. I think he went for The French Connection. Anyway, he just did a lot of great things. He's probably one of those people who you don't get to hear enough about because they just did a lot of legitimately great work. He has a pretty impeccable filmography, if we're being real about this. You know what? I'm sorry. He has a trivia section? I'm curious about that. He won for English Patient, Amadeus. He was nominated a lot more times than I realized. Okay, sorry. He won for The Exorcist, which was after The Godfather. Why did he say... Whatever. He won for The Exorcist, Amadeus, rightfully so. That movie, the sound is amazing. And The English Patient, he was nominated for, and didn't win, Silence of the Lambs, Chorus Line, Fame, Jesus, and The French Connection. Anyway, great dude. He was with Walter Murch. He won with Walter Murch. Damn. Walter Murch is another great sound guy. All right, sorry guys. I just wanted to do that. But he was a great guy. He was a great teacher, and I will miss him. And I thank him for having a small part of my life. I'm very honored to have shared the airspace with him. I think it was amazing. All right, I'm going to take a break. We will talk about the pilot of American Dad. Sorry if the flow is a little weird tonight. Friday, it's going to be impeccable because I'll have more time to work on it. Anyway, I'll be right back. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for indulging me on that. And I'll be right back. Okay. Maybe I should make some weight music or something at some point. Like, just make a. Yeah, I think I should do. You know what? I think I should. I wanted to make a video of just like beats, so maybe I'll just. That'll give me my excuse. I need to make like a. I was gonna make like an hour or 45 minutes of just my background music. I need to do that, but maybe that'll give me the reason to actually get my shit together. All right. So as this, of course, runs on, I'm excited for Friday because we'll have like, for once, a show that runs on time. I'm excited. Next Friday, whatever is what's next Friday? The 21st? Yeah. And you'll find out what I was hyping up. That'll be the first thing. Unless something crazy happens, which I'm sure it will. All right. If anyone, I'll just say this now. If anyone wants to do a super chat, there's still about 20 minutes left. So this is your chance to wake me up. All right. Here we go. So American Dad, the first episode. So American Dad, I'm not really a fan of this show, to be 100% with you. However, it has been about 20 years. Ryan Walterson suggested this, and at first I was like, I don't know, but I thought it was a good suggestion, and I want to get into it. Now, this premiered on February 6th, 2005, so it's been about 20 years. Apparently, it's been 20 years of YouTube. Congrats to both of you. So I'm sure there were already American Dad clips on there, and somebody got sued for it. But I want to preface like what this meant in history, because I think, I've heard from like Tariq, Tunerific Tariq, and other people how like specifically I think like my generation is not super into Family Guy presently. We're not really into that, right? Here's the deal with all that. Family Guy ended in 2002. There were some episodes that hadn't aired and all that, and came out in 2003, but for the most part, we hadn't heard for any Seth MacFarlane stuff for 2 years, which sounds insane presently. Like I don't think you can imagine just not having Seth MacFarlane stuff for 2 years, but that's basically what happened, right? Okay, for 2 to 3 years, there's no Seth MacFarlane. We knew Family Guy got picked up again. That would happen later, but American Dad, the first episode, was the first thing of any Seth MacFarlane stuff we had gotten in 2 to 3 years. In addition to that, this was the second term of Bush. I think he was sworn in a little bit before. All the Bush conservative jokes were sort of played out by this point. So, seeing somebody make their big return 2 to 3 years later, doing lame-ass conservative Bush jokes, just didn't feel really that funny at the time. Now, I would be open to talking about the Family Guy return episodes, actually. Possibly, maybe. But maybe those are funnier than I remember. Maybe there was too much hype, and maybe we're all just fucking dicks. But, which is probably part of it. However, I thought this was better than I remembered it being. I thought it was a little funnier, and I thought we were probably too harsh on it. Mostly because I think those first couple seasons of Family Guy are really good. People still reference them. People still like them to this day. They're really great episodes. And I think following them up was difficult. However, whatever with this episode, I think it actually kind of works because of the idea of the son who is it's about a bunch of stuff, and you set up everybody. I still don't like the goldfish thing. I think the goldfish thing is it's basically like, if you don't know American Dad, it's about this dad who works in like the government or CIA or whatever, FBI, NSA, one of them, and he's very conservative, and he has a son who's like a nerd. He has a daughter who's like super liberal. They live with an alien, Roger. They have a goldfish who has the brain of a German skier. Am I remembering everybody? Is that everyone? Anyway, that's the whole lineup. I don't get the goldfish thing. They explained it, and it was a little. That was actually sort of funny, but it still is like, what are we doing with this? I didn't really get that. Everybody else, however, the goldfish name is Klaus. Sorry, Klaus the goldfish. I didn't really get that one, but Roger the alien and the daughter lady, they have a whole thing. But I think the main thing is about the son and the dad, the American dad, and he wants his son to go on a date with a girl and all these things. That actually kind of works a little better than like. I keep reading this show doesn't rely on cutaways. It still has cutaways, so I don't know. But it was like very much playing in all the extremes of like how people felt about conservatives and like how he keeps shooting stuff and like he buys his son a dog to like impress girls and then he shoots the dog because he's so gun happy and hearing anything freaks him out, which was like really stupid. That kind of stuff doesn't play as well, but there was a couple jokes that I will bring up that were funny. There's one part where he's gonna steal this girl's purse, and then he wants his son to like catch him and get the purse back. But what seriously worked about that is like the joke is that like you already know this dad's like super like crazy and like his whole thing with guns and stuff, but he grabs the purse and then just like runs like a demon through this mall and no one can catch up to him and he like jumps through a window and he like gets away from the purse and I was like, okay, this is like actually funny. Like I like that it was from a sense of character that like he's like that and and then they cut to like them in the car and he goes, that didn't really work out, and he has like glass on his face. That was legitimately like really well done, actually. I thought that was like maybe the best joke in the whole episode because it's like like he ruined the whole premise and he came up with it. I thought was really funny, actually. But there's a lot of like, I will say, like I didn't like, by 2005 I was very sick of Bush jokes. Like I've noticed like because we had like that sort of break of Trump, the Trump humor has changed between terms and you couldn't really do the Trump stuff you did last time now. But like, I think I was just so sick of commenting on Bush and everything like that at that point. And so it's like all the Osama bin Laden jokes in this, which they do a lot, were just way too much and are not, even now, are not funny. Although him saying like he bought a pencil that goes up Osama bin Laden's butt and he, talks how he spent $40 on it, which adjusted for inflation is actually funnier because he was an idiot who spent too much. And there's a joke where they have God calling George Bush to minimize him saying that God picked him and stuff because he didn't want to be associated with George Bush. It was kind of funny. But I think overall, I don't know. Or there is a joke where Steve, his son, becomes like student council president and he makes sure that all periods, they're not called periods like school periods, they're called Steves. And they have this bit where he's like I'll meet you after third Steve, and it goes sentence on a Steve, and this girl goes like, sir, can I go to the bathroom? I'm having my Steve. That was decent. I think this is funnier than you expect, but and I think it has more going for it than just the conservative shitting on things, which now doesn't feel as crazy and extreme and like, overbearing as it did then. Now I'm like, I mean, this is just like sort of how it is, unfortunately. But it went the other way. It went the way where like, oh, this is still the same. Cool. It did make me feel a little better about American Dad. It took me back to the place where I thought I understood why I just wanted nothing to do with this fucking show when it premiered. I just thought it was like the worst thing. I think we were all too hard on it, and I think the break had this like reverse effect where like I watched Family Guy on Fox. Everyone I know who watched Family Guy when it originally aired on Fox like did not like it when it came back. And I think maybe it had been like we're all young. I would think it was in high school when Family Guy came out, and it was like finishing college when this came out. And it's like, in terms of like taste change, is a major shift. And I just think it's like, I think stuff changed, but I do think we were all too harsh on it. I think this is a decent show. I'm a little more open to watching more of it. I'm not gonna, but everyone tells me it gets better. Maybe it does. I did like the whole like Roger thing, sort of, but like I don't know. I think at the time it just wasn't the right thing to lead with. It's interesting, much like the pilot of Family Guy. This was also a post Super Bowl thing, but it sort of came around. I think we were all a little too harsh on American Dad. I still think it has the embarrassing Bush stuff. For the most part, a lot of it just I don't necessarily think they're amazing jokes or anything, but seeing how conservatives are now versus then, it doesn't feel as like extreme as it used to. I think we were all too hard on it. It made me rethink about American Dad, and maybe appreciate it a little more when I go back and watch it for the first time in 20 years. No, I haven't watched the episode. I don't know. I got too much stuff to do. This is, Anyway, it's late. Let's get to the questions. Let me find the question. Okay, Patreon. Oh man, Cineram's got a long one here. Interesting. All right, let me go. Questions. What's going on below? YouTube's being a little funky. All right. Any last minute super chats? Appreciate it. All right. Let's do we have any other ones in here? Yes, we do. I'll do Jordan Richards first. What are a few well-known shows and or movies you haven't gotten around to seeing? I've never seen A Beautiful Mind. Shows, I would like to see St. Elsewhere. I guess I haven't seen Invincible. A lot of people are like, have you seen Invincible? And I haven't seen any of it. So I'll pick those two. Nathaniel Foga, favorite moment from the Annie Awards. I guess that Wild Robot and Flow won. I'll say that there. Okay, let's Cineram and then Austin. Cineram said, you were correct last week. Schindler's List did win the cinematography Oscar. Thank you for taking so much time with my questions. In regards to film theory, one of your reviews has stood out for me from the time I first watched it, The Force Awakens. In your video, you voiced your opinion that it's not good enough to simply make a Star Wars movie, but instead have a theory that is built on influence in earlier films. The example you cited was how John Carpenter is always making Westerns, except they're not in a Western setting. So in that case, what theory would you have employed if you were the guy to make or simply write a 30 years later sequel to Return of the Jedi? Okay. Wow. At first I thought you were going to say Return of the Jedi, and my main thing is I wish John Carpenter had directed Return of the Jedi. Wow. I wish I'd read this before. That's my fault. Theory that I employed 30 years. Oh, what theory? Not movie necessarily. Theory. I actually sort of liked what Rian Johnson did with The Last Jedi, because what he did, which I thought was interesting, is he very much was influenced by the Kurosawa films that Lucas paid for with the Star Wars money. And I thought, particularly in that Throne Rooms thing, he was referencing the one in the 80s, the first one he made for Kurosawa, which I'm going to butcher, it's late. So, but what I think he was sort of saying is, what is the true influence of Star Wars? In a way, there's a lot about like, what does Star Wars mean? What does it mean to be a Jedi? How anyone can take it on and stuff like that. But I think he was saying like one of the major influences of Star Wars that everyone forgets is Lucas found Kurosawa, found out he wanted to make all these movies and couldn't, and said, okay, this sucks. I'm going to figure this out and help make them. And I've always respected that Lucas was like, I'm going to bring back Kurosawa. And Rian Johnson was using the influence of Kurosawa. I honestly think that doing Kurosawa again was probably one of the smartest moves The Last Jedi did. I don't think that movie's perfect. I don't understand everyone's weird thing with it. I think it's actually, when it's peaking. It's amazing. The Force Awakens, I think, it worked good for what it needed to be, which is bring Star Wars back. However, if we weren't just thinking about that, I think, honestly, a better idea for a Star Wars thing would have been maybe a Yojimbo or Sanjiro or something of that regard. And I think doing something like that. But I sort of like what Rian Johnson did, because I do think one of the biggest Lucas influences is, Lucas isn't a perfect dude, a perfect guy at all. But I think, like, had he shown what he had been able to achieve and be able to make with his money, which is, everything from Pixar to Kurosawa, like, he really did a lot of stuff that has really changed culture in ways that people don't really acknowledge him for. And I think kind of showing that more like color Kurosawa thing would have been a better move. Or honestly, just making, I think if you had just done Yojimbo again, which I don't understand, like, if I was going to make a Star Wars movie, I would just do Yojimbo or For a Few Dollars or When the Raven Flies. They've all done a version of it, and I was like, there should be a Star Wars movie version of that. And I honestly think like a simple like thing like that would have been a little more interesting, just a solid Star Wars movie. But I understand why Disney made what they did, and I think Force Awakens works. It was the Star Wars movie they needed at that time. But now, if you ask me, what I really wish had happened is Return of the Jedi, directed by John Carpenter, where it all takes place on Tatooine and them trying to get away from Jabba and deal with Jabba and all that stuff. That's what when I was first reading that, I was hoping ask me that. But that's like they should have never asked David Lynch. They should have just gone like how do we get John Carpenter to do Return of the Jedi? We never get to Endor. That's like another movie. I also think they shouldn't have done a trilogy. They should have just kept making Star Wars movies. Just like, anyway, that's the whole other thing. Man, Cinerama every week. I'm digging it though. No, for real. These are interesting. I like it. All right. Hey Jim, this is Austin. Last one, then we'll do the ones here. Hey Jim, what a great show. I'm either here or asleep. You're asleep, right? Or asleep, right? Actually feeling a bit under the weather, and there is a lot of snow outside. My question, which is last after a really good Cinerama question, and afterwards will be a good cornbread question. Oh, cornbread. I haven't read yours, so pressure's on. My question is, what would you like to see in a Godzilla -1 follow-up? Do you think there should be other kaijus, or should it just be Godzilla as the only one and only monster? I wouldn't mind if it picks a different... Well, I guess if you're going to do another kaiju, I hope it acknowledges like periods of Japanese history, much like -1 did. And maybe you could have him growing over time and like, what was Japan? I don't know the history of Japan well enough. I mean, I know it obviously like economically eventually recovered and stuff. But maybe it could be like, maybe it would actually be interesting to, because the -1 kind of acknowledges the early Showa era. It'd be interesting to see like economically, like what happened to the kid those two were raising and seeing them change and seeing that kid have to deal with Godzilla, just hearing about his rumors. And maybe it's like, you do Godzilla vs. Mothra, but if it had actually taken place in the 60s and acknowledge both 60s cinema and 60s Japanese cinema, I think that could be interesting. That's kind of what I would do. Maybe do like French New Wave Godzilla vs. Mothra. Ooh, I'm into that. There we go. That's what I would do. Maybe I should do... I'm getting the vibe. Maybe I should do more like how I would have done this sort of thing. I don't know. She cannot act or emote? Who are you talking about? What? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Jordan Slaflo. Anyway. Aren't you talking about one of the Kardashians? Then it's fine. Jesus, what horrible people. Okay, cornbread. Is the reason why Mario has to sit on the table behind you instead of on the bookshelf because Mario has a troubled history with giant gorillas and large lizards? No, he's actually my kid's toy, and I saw him over there, and I thought, you know what, he should really get a spotlight in a stream at one point. So this is Mario. Sorry. He's really he was just kind of out, so that's why he's never up there. Anyway, good question, though. Should Paul Blart be the new American Dad? Why not? Can we get 5 big booms? Boom, 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 boom. All right. Ready for the Fantastic Four? I mean, not yet, but soon. Black Saxon Winkle. What is the most embarrassing movie you used to love? Ooh. Huh. Okay. Maybe American Beauty? I almost want to say Fight Club, but I saw it in theaters, so it feels a little different. Like it wasn't like some kind of Norm told me um I like Beyond the Sea a lot when I first saw it, and I guess that maybe that one. Maybe that's a good enough list. I don't need to embarrass myself more. Mandela Butterfly, who would you pick as the first villain of the MCU Mutants movie? I think Magneto. You just gotta go Magneto in the first movie. I think it's like you really have to go into the God loves man kills. In fact, honestly, I know X-Men 2 is very God loves man kills influence, but just do the graphic novel God loves man kills. That's the era we live in. That's what you should do. That just you really need to set up the mutant thing. That's like your paramount concern. I know X-Men does more stuff, but like that's how you set that up. I if you're doing Sinister, it's like you get into the weird genetic stuff. It's like that's cool and stuff, but like you need to set up people hate mutants. You haven't had a really good one of that, and like you really get into the how horrible people are. So yeah, ever had Marmalade from Nathaniel? I believe I have, and it was decent, I guess. Ratboy Mickey, ever had a movie you walked out on, fell asleep? I fall asleep, oh baby, all the time. Uh, Usually when I don't fall asleep in theaters. I don't really. People have asked me this before. I don't walk out of movies because like, especially now, I really like sitting down. I never get to like sit down for 2 hours and I turn my phone off. Oh my god, you can do whatever you want on the screen. I am good. I'm happy. So like, people are always like, I thought you were gonna hate that movie. Yeah, but I sat down the whole time. If they ever make standing up in movies, I don't know. This channel might get different, but we'll see. Cornbread, why didn't The Simpsons win at the Annies? Should we have a mutiny? I think whatever. The Simpsons have enough. I know everyone goes, but The Simpsons are great now. But like, in all honesty, The Simpsons have enough. Not really a question. Okay. For not plausible. American Dad is a case of reverse Flanderization. The characters start out as purely stereotypes. As a result, the writers get to put meaningful personality into them years later. Okay. Maybe what we should do, maybe what I'll do, I didn't talk about The Accountant too. Why would I not talk about that? How did that happen? Fuck. Anyway, I saw The Accountant 2 trailer. And there's 2 accountants in it. It looks like The Accountant, but like dumber. Whatever. I'm down for it. I'm here for it. Was Ben Affleck the bomb in Phantoms? I never saw it, but yeah. Maybe I should review that around the Accountant cuts. Embla T, remember when Tim Blake Nelson was in Fantastic Four? I do remember that. Wasn't he somebody? Jesus. Or Fan Four Stick. Embla T, do you think Amy Schumer stole something yet again, which was the original title for Fan Four Stick Trainwreck? What? Oh, ha 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 ha. Okay. Cornbread, you see Michael B. Jordan's recent comment about Jonathan Majors. Yes, I did. That he said he'd work with him again. I know there's like sort of Jonathan Majors sort of trying to come back. I mean, he directed him. He was very good friends with him. I don't know. I actually think the movie that got hurt the most by his cancellation was Creed 3 because I heard people loved it, and then after that happened, it was like crickets, and I thought it was a very good Creed movie. I mean, I'm not shocked. They got along. I think it worked out for him. I read in other reports he was pretentious on other sets, but not on Creed 3, and maybe him and Michael B. worked together well. I like Michael B. Jordan. I don't know. I thought it was a weird thing to say, but whatever. Black Saxon, what's your favorite episode of The Cleveland Show? I don't know that. I think I maybe watched one, but I don't know. I don't know what Nathaniel Fogan couldn't agree more with, but thank you. Embla T, is The Toxic Avenger the best superhero movie of the 80s, better than 89 Batman? I can't think of a better one, so I'll just say, yeah, sure, why not? Embla T, how about Star Wars Blazing Saddles and talking shit right to the right way? Internet grifters. I would be down with that. Cornbread, what's your favorite food when you're sick? That's a good question. Usually something really spicy. Like I like Mexican food with like I like really spicy Mexican food. Like I'll put a ton of hot sauce on it, but if I'm sick, I'm like pouring the Tabasco and the Sriracha. Those are my two hot sauces. Ratboy Mickey, should Denny's collab with FF again, or Fantastic Four again? Absolutely. And Matt Singer should have to eat it. Cornbread, follow-up question to Ratboy Mickey. Should they bring back Denny's Hobbit menu? Fuck yeah. Nathaniel Foga, ever heard of the show Severance? I have. I've never watched it. I hear it's really good. Someone actually sold me on it for the first time. Because they said, well, you know, John Turturro and Christopher Walken have a romance in it. And I go, what? Why do people... I don't want to hear about them young people. John Turturro and Christopher Walken have a romance? Sign me up for that. That's cool. What's the Texas license plate for? I think it was my wife's or something. I forget. It's just there. I don't know. Sometimes I just have stuff in the house. It's crazy. Medela Butterfly, standing up for true romance. No thanks. I do that enough at work. I know. Same, bro. Will you ever talk about the Cleveland show pilot, Jordan Sloppolo? I guess when it's been 20 years since that, I don't mind talking about the pilot. Like this, I thought American Dad was an interesting idea because it's just like, I remember that era, that time period, and I wanted to sort of talk about it. And it was interesting revisiting it. I don't know. Cleveland show doesn't really have the same meaning to me. So I don't know if you get like, I feel like that review is decent, and I don't know if you get that with it, but we'll see. Cornbread, should The Accountant 2 be about Ben Affleck as Batman, who is an orphan, have John Baruchel as Punished, who lost his two kids, bond and do father-son activities? Sure. I think that's it. All right, we ran a little late. Sorry about this one in terms of lateness and flow and all that. But I'm excited for next Friday. So please, y'all, come out next Friday if you can, 10 o'clock. However, I want to thank everyone who gave a super chat. Austin, William Elman, Bloxy Oxenwinkle. Are we? Okay. Bloxy Oxenwinkle, Austin, Ratboy Mickey, and Classic Cameron. I really appreciate everyone who gave a super chat during the show. It helps me do what I do. Anyway, I will see you all next week. There'll be more stuff throughout the week and all that. There might be more. I think there'll be at least one. Oh, Medela Butterfly. Oh, I forgot you do that. Thank you very much, man. And Medela, let's give one last time. Cheers to you. Next Friday, I reveal what I was talking about. And you'll find out. But other than that, I got to go do some dishes and clean up a little bit and go to bed. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being cool. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching. And I will see you all next time. All right, cool. Peace.